Hi, and welcome to the next step in living the good life. This is Emily Costa and the Emily Costa podcast. If you aren't currently live watching live on YouTube, please move over to the Emily Costa podcast so that you can hear today's next step in living the good life. So today we're talking about the real value of money and the $495,000 Honda Accord. And this one's kind of interesting because it has to do with opportunity cost and real cost. And it definitely builds off of our previous videos. So everything you do in life entails cost, and opportunity cost and time is sometimes the most valuable. There's a significant amount of opportunity cost, a significant lack of opportunity cost focus these days. And hundreds of years ago, the world was a lot less complex, where black and white thinking worked a little bit better. There were fewer extremely wealthy people, no extreme diets, there weren't as many fads, there weren't gyms, there weren't as many ideas and methods of happiness. If you aren't currently watching my live stream on YouTube, please move over to the YouTube live stream so you can hear what I'm saying. And the world demands that you understand real costs these days. Think about how the McDonald's brothers sold their shares for only $1 million. Knowledge is nothing if it does not adjust our instincts. And so you absolutely have to adjust your instincts. You have to be the most adaptable in order to survive. And book knowledge is worthless. The acquisition of knowledge is easy, but the application is hard. So you have to be able to apply the things that you learn. And unfortunately, there's such a high emphasis on book knowledge these days without application. If you just look at our education system, if you look at the way that elementary, high school students learn by having tests and not learning how to use the tools like calculators, but rather having tons of memorization. Like if you go into a 5th grade classroom, they're literally memorizing and being tested on dates that are not like the important thing. The important thing is what is applicable to my real life. And how many of those people are being historians. So you have to question that type of stuff. Fresh Start, thank you for the comment. I see you there. Can somebody message the chat that I'm live on YouTube only? That would be appreciated. In the last 30 days, how many days did you jump out of bed tap dancing? We talk about tap dancing out of bed. How many days in the last 30 days were you tap dancing out of bed? Was it half? Was it only 1 or 2? Was it 80, 90%? Every day I try to tap dance out of bed. And I recommend that people try to do that pretty much every day as well. We're day one. Thank you, Lewis. You have to quantify things in life. And you can quantify like almost anything. You can rate your current happiness and your state of happiness on a scale or out of 100. You can quantify, well, how many weddings and birthday parties did I get invited to this year? I get invited to a ton of birthdays and weddings, right? Like I've been to a few in just like the last couple of weeks. And you can absolutely quantify that. You can quantify how many freedom points or units do you control? And that's basically money, right? How many freedom units do you control? So you have to get better at allocating your freedom units. If you want to change the world, what you really should be able to do, this is something you have to figure out how to do, is get 1 million people to change the way that they spend their money. You can build a a new industry. Every single business, technically, like on some level, they take opportunity cost away from other companies and other things because there's only so many units, freedom units. But that's what's so great about capitalism and supply and demand is that those units of freedom, those dollars go towards technically a new industry every single time that market cap is transferred. And it's all about who's the best. What's the best marketing? What's going to make the most impact? So money's very powerful. And money is not evil. It's not as evil as it seems. It's a very powerful tool. And all tools, powerful tools, can be dangerous when they're wielded by fools. And that's something important to understand. So understand how money works. Become a master of opportunity cost. And if you think about, I say this analogy a lot, but like with a pit bull, right? A pit bull can be amazing, or they can turn back and bite you. And so you have to understand that it is an opportunity that comes with a lot of responsibility. So it's your responsibility to take care of that thing correctly. And the Bible talks about this as well when it talks about the talents, right? Some master gave his servants some talents and said, hey, I'm going to go on a trip. You take care of these talents, make sure that they grow. And one of the people buried it in the ground. And he's like, man, you could have at least put it in a bank account, gotten something back. And then there was another person who invested it. So you have to understand that you have a responsibility with what you're given and become a master of opportunity cost. The rule of 72 is something that I wanted to teach you guys about today because that's not something that many people understand. And basically, the rule of 72 means that it's the interest rate of what you're getting. So whatever interest rate you're getting in your investment divided by 72 is the amount of years that it takes to double your money. So like I can do the math right now, but let's say you have a 6% interest rate divided by 72. I'm just going to do that math in my mind. It's probably like 8 years or something before that money would double. And it kind of takes into account, compound interest a little bit. So become a master of opportunity cost, understand how long it takes to double your money. Warren Buffett doubles his money very quickly because he gets an average interest rate of like 22% on his investments. When you are spending money, you are always creating wealth. It just might not be your own. So every time you spend money, you're creating somebody's wealth. It might be yours. If you're buying an asset, it's going to appreciate. It's probably going to also have some effect on other people. Like I have my real estate. When I get paid, I also have to pay the mortgage. I have to pay the insurance. I have to pay the property managers. So I'm also making other people wealthy alongside me. And that's okay. It's fine. If you were to double your money and get your money back in 1 to 3 years in an investment, you'd be absolutely crazy not to do it. If it were up to 7 years, I would say that you should seriously think about doing it. 7 years is kind of like and anybody that's had a lot of finance courses knows this, but 7 years is kind of considered a good investment if you can double your money within 7 years. And anything beyond that, it's like, look at opportunity costs. So start quantifying things in life. Start quantifying your health, weigh yourself, understand how many calories, like your base caloric intake, how many calories do you need to be eating, how many grams of protein, understand your finances, your wealth, know exactly your net worth, know exactly your income, know exactly how much is going to be invested. What percentage of your income are you saving and investing and putting towards the future? Quantify your love life. And then we already talked about quantifying your happiness. So my questions for today are what is an example of something where you spent example of something you spent on where the law of 72 made you realize, wow, that was really expensive. And there are a lot of different things you can think of like that. One time I gave a huge loan to one of my siblings, and I gave a huge loan to one of my sisters, and it was for her husband's college education. So I paid for her husband's college. And I had a contract signed with her that said I was getting a certain interest rate back. And it wasn't anything that high. But then when I finally got my money back, she paid me a lot less interest. And I did not want to ruin a relationship, like a family relationship, over it. But she gave me a lot less than what it was stated in the contract. And, she wouldn't budge on that. And I was just like, well, my relationship with her is more important than this. So I really should have never given that loan. Like, I wish she would have just gone and done something else, because that opportunity cost in those 6 years that she had my money, I could have doubled it somewhere else, versus I didn't even beat inflation with the amount of money that she gave me back. So that's something to think about. What percentage of your spending is on depreciating things? It's a fantastic question. How much are you spending on depreciating items? And what percentage of your spending is 10xing? So if you're spending on education, investing in yourself, knowledge, books, literally spending your time listening to this, that could be 10xing. Because time is, absolutely a unit of measurement. So if you're 10xing something because you learned this, it's saving you a lot. The opportunity cost is here. You could be doing this, or you could be doing something else. And my last question is, what is a change you need to make where you need to spend or double down on instead? So what's something that you need to double down on? Is that education? Is that picking up a book on something? For the girl I was talking to this morning that was significantly overweight, like, she should probably invest a little bit more into her health, double down on it. She might be doing something, but it's not enough, because the results show she doesn't deserve to have a good body because she doesn't do the things that equal a good body. And that's as simple as it can be. So if you liked this topic today, make sure to like the video. Feel free to subscribe and comment any other topics that you'd like for me to cover. And I'm about to restart all of the topics for people that haven't heard the initial ones. There's a few people that have been here all along, but there are some people that haven't been here very long at all, and they build off of each other. So you really do want to listen to all of them. And the first ones are actually the most important, in my opinion. Anyways, so that is the Emily Costa podcast for today. Thank you for being live with me on YouTube, and I will see everybody tomorrow. We're going to talk about building systems that will persist, and building forgiveness into your life and into everything you do, and gifts from very wealthy people. So it all ties together, and I'm really excited for tomorrow's. So I will talk to everybody later. You guys have a great rest of your Monday.